Hello, welcome to our next lesson in the perimeter and area unit. Today we'll talk about circumference and the area of a circle. Alright, so let's go ahead and define circumference first. Circumference is defined as the distance around a circle. And based on our circle here, we can use a diameter or radius. Remember, diameter is going to be the distance all the way across the circle, crossing through the center, and the radius is going to be half of that diameter. So using diameter, the circumference of a circle is going to be pi times that diameter. If you want to use the radius, it's going to be 2 times pi times the radius, where d is the diameter and r is the radius of the circle. We can also go ahead and find the area of the circle, and again, we'll be using pi as well. Okay, and the area of a circle is going to be pi times the square of the radius. So pi times radius squared. One other thing we want to talk about is going to be exact versus approximate measurements. When we're doing things in terms of pi, if we leave the pi in there, we call that an exact measurement. So for example, if I want to find if I leave something as 5 pi, let's say, pi is an irrational number, and so when I multiply it out, I have to round my answer. So 5 pi would be an example of an exact measurement. It's not rounded, so if I say the circumference of something is 5 pi centimeters, let's say, that would be an exact measurement. If I want to go ahead and approximate this exact same number, I would go ahead and use 3.14 for pi, or I could use the pi button on my calculator. And I would end up with approximately 15.7 centimeters. And again, this would be an approximation. So we want to go ahead and make sure we use that approximate. Okay. So if I leave pi in my answer, that's an exact measurement. If I multiply it out and give me an approximation with the decimal, 15.7 would be the approximate measurement when multiplying out pi. So just make sure we pay attention and we read directions when we ask for an exact or approximate measurement. Also, if it doesn't ask, know when there's an appropriate time to leave exact and approximate. For example, if we're doing a real-life situation, you probably want to give an approximate measurement, like if I want to find the distance around like a circle that I'm measuring to maybe like paint a room or something like that to find the area. That would be something where I'd probably use an approximate measurement over an exact. Alright, so let's go ahead and use the formula for circumference. We're going to find circumference of a circle that has a radius of 11 meters. So since the radius is 11, we're going to have to use the radius formula. So circumference equals 2 times pi times my radius. And we'll go ahead and find the exact and the approximate circumference of the circle. So 2 times pi. For the exact, I'm just going to leave pi. We treat pi like a variable. Times the radius, which is 11. And remember that multiplication is commutative, so 2 times pi times 11 is just going to be 22 pi meters. Now again, this right here would be the exact circumference of this circle. If I wanted to go ahead and find the approximate, okay, I would multiply 22 times pi and get approximately 69.08, and that would be in meters again. So 22 pi meters would be the exact circumference, 69.08 would be the approximate circumference. Now part B here gives us the circumference, this is given to us, is 18 yards, and it wants me to find the radius of the circle. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to still use the same formula, circumference equals 2 times pi times my radius, but in part A, they gave me the radius, so I found the circumference. In this part, they're going to give me the circumference, and I'm going to work backwards to find the radius. So circumference is 18, so I'll plug that in for C, equals 2 times pi times my radius. Now we want to solve for r, so we want to get 2 and pi away from r, so we can go ahead and just divide both sides by 2 pi. Okay, the 2 pi's are going to cancel. I'm going to do 18 divided by 2 times pi. Now we want to be careful when we plug this into our calculator, because if I type it in just the way it looks right here, it's 18 divided by 2 pi, and I press enter, this answer, 28.274333388, is actually an incorrect answer. What we need to do is put the 2 pi in parentheses. So you'll see you get a different answer if I do 18 divided by parentheses 2 pi. And the reason is because when you don't put the parentheses around it, your calculator does 18 divided by 2, which is 9, and then it multiplies 9 times pi. We want to do the 2 pi first. So you're going to get, for this one, the radius is going to equal 2.86 approximately. And that's going to be in yards. All right, next we're going to go ahead and use the area formula of a circle to find the area of, in this case, the face of a watch. And we're given the radius is 4.2 centimeters. So again, the area formula is pi times my radius squared. And we'll go ahead and find the exact and approximate for this one as well. So all I do is just plug in my radius. My radius again is 4.2. And I just square 4.2, multiply times pi. So the area is going to equal 17.64 pi centimeters squared. That would be my exact area. And if I want to go ahead and find an approximate, I can just go ahead and multiply 17.64 times pi. And I would get approximately 55.42. Again, exact is going to have pi in the answer. Approximate will be a rounded answer. Now with part B here, we're given the diameter of the CD. Remember the formula is area equals pi times my radius squared. I don't need the diameter. I need the radius to find the area. But we know that we want to find the diameter in this particular case. So we're given the area is 201 centimeters squared. So we're going to work backwards. We're going to have to find the radius first. So area is 201, so that's going to go in spot for A, equals pi times my radius squared. Now we want to isolate the r squared. So the only thing in front of the r squared is going to be the pi. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi in this case. On the right side, pi's will cancel. On the left side, 201 divided by pi. We can go ahead and approximate this. And you're going to get approximately 63.98. And that's going to be equal to r squared. So we want to get r by itself. So how do we cancel out the squared? We're going to use the square root on both sides. The square root and the squared are going to cancel out. I'm left with just the r. I do the square root of 63.98. And I'm going to get 7.9987. We can go ahead and round that up to 8. So the radius is going to equal 8 centimeters in this case. Now this is not my answer. I'll go back and reread the problem. We're looking for the diameter of the CD. We found the radius. Well, we know the radius and the diameter. The radius is half the diameter, so I'm going to go ahead and take 8 and multiply that by 2. And the diameter is going to be 16 centimeters. All right, so that's just an overview of circumference and area. If you have questions, make sure you write them down on the side, and we'll see you in class.